Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one, the only, the Azothan here, and we're going to be doing Azeroth Wars Season 1, Episode 1, League. That's right, Azeroth Wars League Season 1, Episode 1. Did I get it a little mixed up? Perhaps I did, but I think you'll forgive me as this game is very good. Despite what some people might be saying on the forums, I'm going to be looking at things in depth. We had a wonderful first game. It's going to be North Alliance versus Evil. Same thing we saw when I came up with the idea for this. And I gotta say, it was a good fight. There were quite a few times I watched it live. You're gonna see, because I had to be there to, you know, check it out, make sure everyone was following the rules and nothing weird was going on. And until we get a little bit more established and I can trust people to follow the rules and not dick around and mess things up, I will probably be viewing these replays, so I'll be knowing the outcomes, but I'm going to cast them because this also gives me ability to not miss anything. I get to watch it live. I get to see what the players are typing. They all allied me. I did not ally them, so that means that I have complete vision of the map. No one's going to know who won because no allies chat can spoil it. And then, a great sneeze came up. Oh, no. Oh, it's terrible. I sneezed, my headphones are off. So now that we're done with this, let's go right into the game. And there it is, Azeroth Wars. And today's match, and you'll see the teams down in the thing, it's going to be OGS Miloshte, the Mopie, your old buddy Frozen. Your old buddy Frozen's going to be here as well. And fighting them are going to be some of the better players you've probably ever seen. Red is going to be played by... God, I'm trying to remember the right name right now. It's someone who has personally torn my butt apart quite a few times. Terrifying, terrifying player, really. Yes, we all know how the intro goes. We know how the intro goes. For those of you joining us for the first time, possibly you've seen this and you're like, what is Azeroth Wars? Azeroth Wars is a custom-made game within the Warcraft 3 engine. It is control point based, meaning that you take over those little circles you see on the ground there, and Red is now in possession of that one, so that means he controls Northrend. He controls Ice-Crowned Glacier, at least, a part of Northrend, and that will give you a certain amount of income per minute. Lumber's collected normally. There are other resources in the game to consider, such as elite units, things that you can capture, events that can spawn. For example, Purple loses Strathel. If Arthas then dies, a timer begins, and Arthas will be born for Red instead. If Capital Palace dies, and Uther is then dead, well, he's just dead forever. Most heroes are not one-shot heroes except for the stronger ones in the game. An example of this would be Gagnathegreat, Lord of Outland. He is a one-kill hero until, of course, you kill off Stormwind Keep and Ironforge. If you manage to do that, Gagnathegreat gets to stay in the game forever. If you win your first part of the game, it's basically saying, okay, now you can go a little bit more crazy, enjoy the splash, enjoy the chaos damage, and enjoy being teal in general. Alright, so our players today, Wrath Icefire playing red, Smyl, longtime supporter of the channel, playing blue, the Legion. And against them, we have OGS Miloshte playing as green up in the top right corner. Joining his team is Mopie Eco200Y playing orange in Dalaran. And finally, OGS FrozenGrip. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, prepare your bases because he cannot be stopped. Seriously though, I feel like I can beat Frozen in a fair fight, but that boy can outmaneuver me, man. He's like, hey, here's a distraction, and your base is dead. It's a nightmare. Okay, so let's go ahead and start the game. Now, you're going to see a lot of chat coming up. I am playing as my secret identity, Natoza. And they're going to get a little bit upset here because we do have a lot of pausing. We're trying to make sure everything's going on right. Fog of War. We don't need to see the rest of the map. We're going to go from my view. I will have view of everything occurring in the portion of the map in which we're fighting. This Azeroth Wars League is going to be structured differently than a normal Azeroth Wars game. Azeroth Wars generally has 12 players. We're going to be cutting it down to 2 of the, 6 factions that are out there? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, okay, so 6 factions in the game. And we will only be dealing with 2 at any one time in an Azeroth Wars League game. Potentially 3. Let's say South Alliance. We have 3 really good players at the end of the day. 3 people tied. We can totally have a South Alliance versus an Evil versus a Horde or Night Elves. That may be something that we see where we just go, alright, we're going to do a late game. We're going to come up with the rules for it, but go to diplomunion.com if you're curious. Now, enough waiting. Okay. Smyl immediately sending his units out into the Alterac Pass to try to take some of these creeps. Purple's not dumb, though. He's going to grab the Enforcer, and that's going to be a nice pickup for him. He didn't get 2 kills, but he did get 1, and he outnumbers Smyl's ability to produce units at the moment. Down in the south, we're killing off our heroes and units and dying horribly. And we're going to see me yell at people. Again, I apologize for the slight bit of Azothan rage and or impatience you're going to see here. Now, OGS FrozenGrip goes for a very interesting strategy here, and it's one that sometimes I feel gets ignored. You're going to see what it is in just a second. These footmen, feral spirits, essentially free units. If he can just send them in, let's say he just kills off a meat wagon, that is completely worth a summon. Killing off a meat wagon or supporting units such as an obsidian statue with free units is never a bad thing. But of course, remember, he still has to worry about the plague. These are pro players he's playing against at the moment, and Wrath Icefire is no joke. He has thoroughly stomped my face into the ground in the past. Actually, I'm pretty sure everyone at one point or another has stomped my face into the ground in the past. And there it is. More summons. Alright, OGS building up an Anderhall. He does not want to lose this. This is the first line of defense for all North Alliance players. These 2 bridges are wonderful as, yeah, you can attack from both sides, but surprisingly enough, most players choose not to do this. They feel that it is, I don't know, beneath them or something. And so they very rarely split up their vastly superior sized undead force to try to deal with what is, at the end of the day, a very easy answer or problem. Because don't fight the North Alliance in choke points. Just don't, okay? Paladins have the AoE, 25% chance to do 80 damage to nearby units. They have chain heals. They have insane amounts of stuff that they can throw at you in a choke point, not to mention Blizzard and stuns. Trying to think what else is there. There's quite a lot. But I have nightmares about fighting the Alliance in choke points. More so, oh no, that one's, these are actual, no. I'm actually 100% positive he wouldn't throw away those. Those are indeed summons. Most human bases, when upgraded to keep level, Town Hall, and then keep, you can summon occasionally a batch of footmen as feral spirits, and they will attempt to take things over. Orange is going to go right for the improved watchtower. He's going to try to take over Alterac Valley. I'm sorry, for those of you who are not new to the channel, you know I haven't been posting in a while. I haven't recorded in like a week, so give me a split second, just a split second, to go ahead and start getting used to speaking again in a casting format. I promise you the words will begin to flow once more from my mouth like the gold of old, but for now, no more. I started allying a bunch of people, and I don't know why. I can't remember at this exact moment. But we do see a good answer from Green here. He knows that the enemy is going for a nice siege force. And this move by Wrath Icefire with the Destroyers, this is an excellent response to these footmen. There could not be a better counter at the moment. And we are seeing Flame Shields already out from the blue player. He's upgraded his Warlocks to level 2. He now has the ability to stun units, summon a Flame Shield around an enemy unit, which is basically a Lightning Shield, but a lot more burny. And he can also summon Fellhounds, which, as everyone knows, burn mana when they strike a unit and also have the mana burn ability. But see this! Oh, OGS FrozenGrip throwing these summoned footmen in. And Red, he's like, whatever, okay, cool. That is exactly what I wanted. Now my Destroyers are doing splash damage, and I can start really wrecking people. And look at this, Archmage Antonidas already pushed back. No, God, oh. Red is gonna claim the Antonidas kill, I think I remember. Oh, yes he is, and look at that, magic damage. So these towers cannot attack the Destroyers as they are magic immune. Orange is gonna have to find some answer to that, because basically, he could just sit over this tower and really start working down on it. Or working it down. And even if blue just placed a couple catapults up here, a lot of people don't realize that your catapults are more than in range of Dalaran gates when placed right here. Now, in 1.89, I'm looking forward to casting games in that. I'll also be doing a House of the War segment. But for those who may not know, in this current version, there is a small bug with several gates around the world that did not exist previously, and hopefully will be fixed very soon, as the team is usually very good about fixing bugs, but I think they're going to do it all in one big batch this time, where units can slip through even when the gate's closed. That is the problem with this little Section O wall here. Now, alright, red. Purple already has a Scouting Alliance transport ship. He knows that if a Doom Drop is coming, it has to skirt its way along the southern tip of Northrend here, and he will get he'll get a spot of it. See, look at blue's gonna be like, okay, well fine, I'm just gonna kill it off. Don't want it to get away, no reason to let an enemy unit escape for no reason at all, and now the scout's gone. Purple's got to ask himself, do I send more units? I don't know what's coming. Is anything coming? That could just be him intelligently making sure that I don't have anything there to scout. The more you can take away your enemy's vision, the better you're doing. I'm yelling at pink. The combat alerts were messing me up over there. There we are. Now this was an interesting one. I was expecting much more aggression. The fact that red has not moved out at the 6-minute mark is unbelievable to me. I have always seen red succeed with an extremely fast rush. At least that's the way I like to play it, because it's so satisfying to just go all kinds of crazy on someone. But instead, we're seeing our players here build up. They want to get a nice, good squad. Purple's getting his hero squad, Silverhand Paladins with their Holy Light ability, heavy damage reduction. He's got a Daedalus Blackmore. He can throw out the shackles and stun an enemy hero or root an important unit. Arthas Menethil with his healing aura already up, and Uther Lightbringer bringing in that plus 2.5 armor bonus. Between the two of those things, this makes Purple's army very durable. You'll be surprised. Often you will find yourself fighting a Purple and being like, yeah, I've got some Paladins down to... And then just you see a wall of Holy Lights go off, or God forbid, even those the regen spells off of some of his casters, and you realize, oh. And then green shows up with his chain heals, and you're like, maybe if I run green out of mana, and then orange shows up with his mana regen aura, which green already has, but in the form of a melee unit, which means it very rarely stays alive long enough to provide any kind of actual mana regen. But nonetheless, the North Alliance, when utilized correctly and together, that's the thing, if you can split the North Alliance up, you're going to be in great shape. Green, we did not see participating in these early fights. Instead, he went, swung down, took Greymane's keep. He said, I want Gilneas. And this does provide him with a few extra production buildings, but really it's the extra 50 gold a minute that's really going to start to help. And he's going to be able to get his Magus out very quickly. He got plenty of creep gold from that. And we're seeing the traditional hero squad. We're actually seeing the traditional build out of the North Alliance, and that's okay. I'm not thrilled with the fact that we see continued use of summoned units, but what we're going to see here is Kirin Tor. You can see they have a mana shield. I don't know what is going like, hey, stop it! There we go. Okay, so the Kirin Tor have a mana shield, which, coupled with the fact that they have a mana regen aura, can be very strong later in the game. They also have, I think, Forked Lightning, the ability to silence a unit, and they're just an overall very strong elite. See right here already they have 900,000 health, actually. Okay, I've got to figure out what's making that clicky noise. There we go. Mouse captured. No more clicky noises. And I am going to, since this is an official game, look at that. Ooh, I'm going to do the slide, guys. If you're here for high level casting, it's a custom map. Go away. If you're here to watch me mess up a little bit, as everyone does once and now and then. See, I'm telling you. Dragonhawk Rider's already in the sky, but the problem with Destroyers is they're magic immune. The net ability on these Dragonhawk Riders will do absolutely nothing, and admittedly the piercing damage will probably be decent against the light armor of the Destroyers, but there's no real answer that the North Alliance has. They need nets, they need something to drag those to the ground, and that is something they are lacking, which red is going to take a great advantage of. OGS Miloshte building towers. I think that he was hoping to get the reveal upgrade for his towers to cut down on the effectiveness of the Dreadlord squads that we usually see coming out of blue. And there's red. That's what the build-up was about. Death Knights were being trained in the bowels of Skolamans, and not a human shall live after this assault. Look at it! Look at it! Look at what you've wrought! It's very bad. And, ooh, there we are. Oh, I can actually see how long the episode is. How neat. Already, I'm sorry. It's telling me how long I'm recording. And here's blue. I like this move, believe it or not. The single improved watchtower can be extremely frustrating for a player to use, or to get by. Especially if something keeps... Alright. I'm going to shut down everything Get out of here. I don't want to talk to you. I'm going to need you to do it for like 15 minutes. You'll probably pop back up in the middle of everything. And then what else is go? Okay, let's get rid of that. Yes, shh, no one saw that. What else? What is that noise? I don't understand why it's making that ding. And if you guys are hearing it, you'll have to let me know. But it looks like it may be something we just can't address at the moment. We'll be playing the whole game at one-time speed, as I think most League games will not exceed 1 hour, and I don't mind casting for an hour. I don't mind, because League games give me something to look at constantly. These are really good games. And I gotta say, this was a wonderful pickup over here. I missed it, unfortunately. But what Green managed to do was pick up, with the help of FrozenGrip, a bunch of Red's drops. You see, we have a single undead transport ship left. There were tons of units, tons of those heading out, and a very, very good blockade set up by Green and Purple managed to wipe most of them out. That's a horrible loss for Red. Alright, there it is, Wrath Icefire, 1-2 upgrades. That's what it was about. He was getting out Death Knights, and that's the other thing that we're going to see be very effective here. Banshees. Now, most undead players don't choose to utilize Banshees, which frankly is an absolute shame, because they're very good. I mean, Curse alone would validate their existence. I mean, the chance for them to miss that many times is great. And look, oh, do you feel it? Do you feel it? You should feel it, because what's happening right now is Red's actually holding. I know, you're like, oh my god. Okay, so let's go ahead and break down what we've got going on here. Purple has upgraded his clerics to level 2, which enables them to cast the net ability, effectively locking down a unit. This is extremely useful for a Red that's going for abominations. Less so for a Red that's going for a necromancer undead skeleton build, which Red is actually utilizing. We're going to see a lot of necromancers in the back, a lot of banshees, support units, with the Death Knights used as a hit and run force to kill things off, while things like the catapults and meat wagons are destroying the back lines. Green, purple, and orange have gone for different strategies. You can see purple and green fighting up here. Orange trying to get into the fight, but he is a little bit out of place. He was a little bit out of position when this first happened. And of course, he does have a metric F-ton of Fellstalkers to have to deal with. Now, he can do it. He did do it. Look at that. He went ahead and got Arcanists. He can possess Fellstalkers immediately, summon units for a fraction of their health cost. And there it is, Wrath Icefire. He's got the Death Knights. Between the mana regen... Okay, so that's also another thing to think of. Death Knights have the Unholy Aura. Unholy Aura is stacking along with the Obsidian Statues, healing both health, and some of these are set to mana. Quel'Thazad's in the back. He has the ability to restore mana occasionally. Now, Quel'Thazad isn't a character whose skills you can understand, as he has very few passives. You have to see him actually utilize them. Now, you can either go for a Corpse Explosion offensive Quel'Thazad, or you can go for a support Quel'Thazad, where you pump skills into his ability to regen the mana of nearby units at the cost of his own. And of course, he can eat a nearby undead friendly unit to regen his own mana. And there's the push, guys, a very durable one. Arthas Menethil caught behind enemy lines. This could be a problem. Orange pushing in. He knows that now's the time. His allies are gonna be getting into the best possible choke point they can utilize in just a second. And if they manage... Oh god, so many units caught out of position. The Megas are gonna fall, and these chain heals will just... That is so much mana left on these, and that is an unfortunate loss. But look at that. Look at that. Basically, the only thing that the humans have, the Northlines have, that shoots up is magic damage at the moment. Look at that. High Elven Magus, Chaplains, Clerics, maybe a Farstrider, a hero, but they can't be sheep, they can't be slowed, they can't be stunned, they can't be webbed, they can't be targeted, they can't be anything. So, now these Frostworms are free to do what they are best at, which is freeze enemy units, slow them down, really do some damage. Orange is still going to push in. He's going to try to distract as much as possible. He's got a full group of Kirin Tor, and we can see he does manage to take down an enemy hero, not Tychondrius, but the other guy whose name I'm forgetting, Mal'Ganis. Tychondrius is in the front. He's being targeted down by Orange. Orange didn't want to leave, but it looks like the Death Coil spam is going to force him out of there, and he has to run earlier because Red does have Unholy Aura, allowing him to catch up very easily if he's not careful. Jaina Proudmoore caught in the back, and that's what I'm talking about. Look, these Frostworms able to just, without any concern for their own safety, slow enemy heroes and armies so that greater toll is reaped as they retreat. Back in the north, purple and green know that they can't give up quite yet. And red, with a very efficient use of Frostworms, has confirmed for himself that the North Alliance no longer has any sort of navy. They are now completely stuck on the ground, and invasions can begin from other avenues. Oh, something was in the army. Oh, okay. I don't know why that knight decided to go for a long stroll through enemy territory, but you know what? I respect him. Oops. There we are. Oh, I'm not sure. I love this caster-oriented... This is a very specific strategy. He's getting just the things he needs. He doesn't go for possession. No reason for possession. There's too many North Alliance units generally, and the ones that you do want to possess are usually far too hard to reach. Yeah, I mean, you want to grab yourself a Magus or two. That wouldn't be awful at all by any means, but most of the time Paladins are on the front lines, heroes. The possession isn't going to see that much use. However, Anti-Magic Shell will, as their heroes suddenly become much harder to take down. They can't stun Death Knights or do anything, really. I fought a game, actually, the other day where I think if they had utilized Banshee's Anti-Magic Aura, they probably could have beat me, because it was entirely based around me being able to single out Death Knights and take them down one at a time. Alright, so Mopie is a little concerned. He's a little worried, because he's lost his hero, but now he's got his other hero on a transport ship. Quel'Thalas now at his beck and call. Archmage Antonidas, they're going to try to take out some of these Plague Cauldrons, do a little bit of creeping, make sure that... Oh, God. Oh, okay, so... Normally, I'd say... I was defending Orange first time I watched this. He is definitely out of position right now. It's possible he's trying to move up and around to assist. No, now he's going to move back down and try to distract. See, and this is not a horrible idea. The undead army is terrifying if it can be all together in one place. But that's it. It has to be all together in one place. My God, those Frostworms with Anti-Magic Shield are impossible to stop. There we go. We see one of them get locked down for just a moment, allowing Purple's army to back up even further. This is a wonderful choke point, but the loss of Arthas is nothing to sneer at. The improved guard tower, the very narrow choke, the keep that produces summoned units, and just, I mean, it's a wonderful concave. If green could have gotten in here as well, those chain heals could do insane amounts of damage. Unfortunately, green chose to go over here and clean up just a few Plague Cauldron units, which I think was a poor choice at the end of the day. We see an Acolyte playing Ring Around the Rosie. OGS using summoned units to kill off Plague Cauldrons. Okay. Okay, that is an option. Orange is going to do some decent damage over here. He almost managed to take out these Shadow Priests, which would be very useful, as any healing on top of what red and blue already possess is painful. You do not want to give that advantage, as the North Alliance's healing is one of the few things that can keep them alive against this kind of an onslaught. And look at that. Death Knights, they're not really concerned. Every unit that they kill on the front line turns into a skeleton. What they don't kill turns into a skeleton from the Necromancers. They can all have Anti-Magic Shield. The Frostworms are doing AoE damage. It's just kind of hard to deal with. And OGS... I understand he's in a very tough spot at the moment, but if you ever find yourself in a situation like this, where you have a veritable smorgasbord of unarmored units with low health, hit them with the goddamn improved cannon tower that's within range. Oh, with Margarathos also falling down. Orange trying to finally cut off Blue's base here. He wants to get rid of this so that he can finally rejoin his allies here on the front lines. And you do see, this is very good. He knows that red is engaged. So he is building exactly what blue can't deal with, which is vision. He can't deal with the fact that his hero squad is going to be revealed. He's already lost one. He doesn't want to lose anymore, like the Chain Lightning there from Dalen Proudmoore. Red continuing to assault, and green is over here just wildly out of position. I mean, even breaking these rocks would be the right answer right now for them, just so that they can get through. If FrozenGrip had those chain heals, if the North Alliance was in any way a cohesive force, but what blue and red managed to do, and frankly it's brilliant, is split them up. There's no answer. Blue has a force that could definitely threaten Dalaran alone, especially with the gate bug. That is tough to deal with. And purple, very strong. I mean, look, he's holding against the red army for quite a while now. But they're all over the place. There's no cohesiveness to the North Alliance, and what we're seeing out of red and blue is just phenomenal right now. Banshee's getting up even further. They want to get the curse on those units, and curse is effective on Silver and Paladins because if they miss an attack that would have been an AoE, that is so worth it. Whereas, you know, if you just cast it on the few frontline normal units, okay, it's good, but it's not great. And I would have preferred to have seen these summons targeting the meat wagons. They are really doing the damage. They are what's going to break this choke point here for purple at the end of the day. And it looks like his paladins, Arthas, Uther, everyone caught way out of position. Nothing for him to do. The destroyers, all out of mana now, but I'm sure some summons will come up and they'll be able to eat some mana. It'll be a good day for them. Quel'Thalas, a bit out. And what we're going to see right from our North Alliance players is no upgrades. They went and they got their tech, and that's okay. I think purple upgraded his casters to level 2, but there are no attack or defense upgrades whatsoever. His paladins are basically useless, and red has had enough time to get up to 1-3 because there was no aggression. They basically just said, alright, red, go ahead and get up your ideal army. We won't push the issue, and then you can win. And all the money that would have gone into reproducing basic units that we would have been able to kill if we'd attacked sooner can now be put into upgrades. Also, the fact that we're misclicking all over the place and losing units for no reason is very... Oh god, the High Elven Magus. Oh, now. Oh god! Anasterian Sunstrider is down. Alright, it's not quite done yet though. Orange, Mopie, he's not done. He's got reveals, he can deal with blue. He's got a problem in the form of the Fellstalkers, but his Arcanist should be able to go ahead and take control of them for him. And look at that, he takes down 1 and I think 2 of blue's heroes. Yep, blue is left heroless, orange is assaulting the base right now, and at the moment, this is a very confusing spot for red. He is feeling great. He just crushed 2 armies, killed off everything basically. Orange is the only army on the map at the moment. And now he wants to go for capital, or he wants to go for Strathall, or he wants to go for anything really. He just needs to do some damage. But with orange pushing up and actually smashing his ally, he's in a bit of a problem spot, location, geographical locale. All right, red now up to 2-3. Oh, it's terrifying. The Kirin Tor, they're gonna back up. They know. This army is extremely fast. They got to get out of there before they get caught. But he has managed to take out both the production structures and the tower that was here, claimed the Alterac Mountains, and is going to begin moving up a little bit more. Being careful, sending out water elementals, picking off free units here and there. Water elementals very good at taking out unarmored banshees, casters, things like that. Even meat wagons, utilizing the crushing wave ability that they possess. That means that they are indeed Jaina's summoned water elementals rather than normal ones. And that's a good move right there. He might even be able to take out... Oh, no focus fire there, but some decent damage done to the meat wagon. Oh, no. Oh, orange. Orange out of position. Orange out of position. Oh, red has cripple. Oh, and a smooth pickup there from orange means that his heroes will survive for a little bit longer. Building towers, but they're going to get taken out. What this has done, though, is given purple and green some extreme breathing room. Without it, they'd be dead. And I gotta say, the fact that purple and green split up their forces was the death blow up there. They're wonderful together, but green has no tanks, and purple has no mana regen or heals, so or at least reliable heals. And yeah, I think that was probably the worst part. If they'd all been together and had managed a cohesive defense, that would have been much more effective. Red begins streaming unchecked across the countryside. Capital City, I'm sure, will fall soon. But Orange, not one to sit back on his laurels, is going to push back up and try to begin dragging them back into a position that doesn't threaten his allies quite so much. Green, building up an army. Large number of forces here. He's rebuilding his entire base army, getting all the Elven Magus, all the Elven Warriors, all the Elven Ballista, and oftentimes this can be a mistake. If you just remain aggressive, even if it's with only a group of units, look at what you can do. He's forced the entire red army all the way back to Anderhall. Now, I think this is where they should have fought together. Purple pulls back. Still some units kind of just trickling in. I think those are summons, so again, the destroyers are going to have a good day. Orange pushed back. Oh, but blue's here to try to ruin orange's day, and red's going to get the pickup. Purple, come on, purple and green. Purple and green, where are you? Orange is in trouble. He needs you. All right, now's the time to engage. But orange, oh, what was going to be a surround, all he does is he just summons the units, controls them, and this forces blue to go ahead and upgrade his Shadow Priest to level 1, at least to adept level, because this gives them Dispel Magic. Is my phone ringing? No, I got a text, okay. I have to mail a package today, I'm going to feel real bad if I forget about it. Right here it is, purple engaged for a moment, activated his... There it is, this is the moment, this is the choke point to fight it. Except for the fact that Saffron's here now, and he's going to do tons of... Oh, you can see it. Oh, the Frost Breath's coming out and wreaking havoc on them. Orange, though, he's like, okay, I've got to engage. And a cripple, curse, stun combo means that the Silverhand Paladin's not going to have any chance. Between the Frost Breath of the dragons and cripple, that's basically a permanent stun on most units. I just think Dispels are the only way to deal with that. You've got to get rid of that cripple. Here's orange. He can't let his ally die yet. He's got to do some kind of damage, and blue's back, hitting the towers. Enemy units will be revealed here in just a moment. Granite Golem summoned to try to hold the line, and if he can take out these meat wagons or crush this army, this puts the North Alliance at a good spot again. Summon's still being utilized. That's good to see. Destroyers nowhere to be seen to pick up that mana. So for once, they'll actually do a decent amount of damage. But of course, red is now up to 2-4 as he doesn't really lose any units in his army. Everything has anti-magic shield, everything has hero armor, everything has you know, damage reduction, and your units are missing, and it's the worst. And cripple too. Between slow and cripple, just think you're not doing any damage there. As another very effective way of shutting down what is a huge problem most people have with the North Alliance, and staying too long to cast those spells on these Frostworms. It's going to cost him a hero, it's going to cost him a demi. It's going to cost him 3 demis, I think, overall. Yep, there they are, getting focused down. Focus fire, very good there. He's not going to... And this is the problem with going for an army that the North Alliance is going for, waiting for this kind of a build-up. Red's units are way more durable. Mostly because Red's units can do way more straight-up damage to a single unit than the North Alliance possibly can. The North Alliance can batter away at an army, chip it down until you didn't even realize it was dead, and then it all falls over at once at low health. Whereas the undead just start tearing your butt apart, and you don't know what to do. Good move here, using the Water Elementals, trying to push him back. Anubrak taking a lot of damage here. Force some Death Coils to heal him. Saffron's still flying over here. But once you have that... The North Alliance can't afford to lose Paladins, and Red can absolutely afford to spam spells on a Paladin to get rid of it. And just start breaking away big chunks of your army that are very important, and normally only take spread out damage. But, I don't know, that kind of upfront, immediate, single target damage that Red can bring to bear if you allow him to get up a hero squad, and especially this kind of tech, is... I don't know what the North Alliance can do to answer that. I think that they needed to be more aggressive, allowing the game to go to the 7-minute mark. I think they got a little complacent. They're like, well, I don't have to hurry because no one else is going to win across the map. Guys, the reason to rush is not just because there's going to be other people beating you. The reason to rush is because some races can't be allowed to tech up to a certain point. You have a time limit. There are timings that you have to consider. And allowing your unit to funnel resources into exactly what he wants, you're like, oh, I'm getting to do it too. It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Orange is trying to get his forces back up again. He's rebuilding this Kirin Tor. Arcana's still here, just in case. As we've seen, Blue has not seen any indication of ceasing to use Warlocks, but we have seen an increase in Shadow Priests from his army instead, as they're less likely to end up turning against him. Here it is, Capital City's defense. Oh, the High Elven Magus are out of position. The tanks are not up front. Oh, the damage, the Frost Breaths, the Death Knights. Oh, Green's army is completely caught out in the front. AoE damage done to them. Stuns going down. No heals. That was a crushing first engagement for Red there. I mean, now... Oh, he split them up again. Oh, he split them up again. Orange... Man, Wrath Icefire is tearing it apart in this game. Reveals coming down from OJ, wondering if it's safe to head up there right now. This is not looking good by any means. Shutting down a few units here and there, a caster, a banshee. That's a not a bad use of these units, but I don't think it's like spitting into a hurricane. It's not good on you for, you know, being that kind of stubborn cuss, but there be a problem here. Alright, Orange going to push back up. He's got to do something. Green has been pushed all the way. Green has lost all his units again. All of his Magus are dead. And this Plague Cauldron has been continuing to spawn units, Necromancers, Acolytes, Zombies. If left alone, they will just continue to spawn units. And that's the other thing. Red is doing a wonderful job. And Green says I can steal Crown. Somehow I don't think he can, as that is a common tactics that Green used for a very long time. They would sneak Sylvanas in just as you killed Capital City, snag the Crown out from under you, and run away. Most Reds are smart enough to make sure that they have a shade around before they kill Capital City now. If you've lost your Crown a few times, you start to learn. Wrath Icefire could be harassing with these. There's no reason not to use the Plague Cauldron units. I mean, he basically has 24 units sitting here that could move down, take 2 control points at the very least, 3 probably if he went down in here. I don't think these improved guard towers could even stop that army. Probably at the wooden gate, but at least he would get about 20, 30, 40 extra gold a minute. Not that he seems to need it with his upgrades, as I think you guys can see the way this game is going. He says I can steal Crown. He's going to try. There was a shade. Nope. Oh, he tried to get it, but he could not. Does Red have a shade here? I feel like he should. Maybe not. Maybe not, but Orange is trying to do some damage. But he's not fast enough to get away, and even with those Forked Lightnings, Red's regen and his ability to do damage to them, he just doesn't give a shit. He knows as long as I kill your army now, I have plenty of time to heal up later. Chain heals finally from green, green and purple. Summons coming in from purple, and chain heals from green. Let's hope he doesn't lose those again. Maguses are very effective. I like to see that. Nope, they're just absorbed, and now the destroyers are going to have plenty of mana to do AoE damage to these poor units on the ground, including those carrion swarms you're seeing out of Blue's Dreadlords. Ooh, Smyl and Wrath Icefire are handily taking this first round. I don't think there's any debate on that one. And Orange did an interesting thing here, which basically means Blue and Red don't have the option of retreating, or they don't have the option of bringing a large cohesive force through all at once. This slows them down remarkably, enabling these scout towers to both spot enemy heroes. And we see that the army that was spawned here for purple when Capital City fell is trying to assault Skullomance. Unfortunately, no real cohesiveness. He even sends in the peasants, doesn't build a barracks or anything in the base. And that is the... Oh, Jesus, I was like, I clicked on the wrong player. That's the trick. Think about it. Do you think Red and Blue could continue to fight, as effectively anyway, if Skullomance were taken out? All of their production structures would be across the sea. It is one of the most important things in the game. If you do not take out Skullomance, you are basically saying, I'm completely fine with you having a base of operations right in the middle of my continent, and I'm not ever going to do anything about it. Whereas, if they had done anything else, the North Alliance, suddenly, if they had taken out Skullomance, the North Alliance suddenly has the advantage, as their navies are much stronger, and the force that they can bring to bear across the ocean and in landings is way more effective than what Red has. Of course, Red's Air Force is still a concern, but generally you can deal with that with enough frigates. It's not that hard, actually. And especially if they're out on the open, the Frostworms, I mean, you think they're scary. Destroyer's not really that big a deal over water. They're pretty weak against the frigates that you're going to be seeing, and Mopie's upgrading them. But the Frostworms are the problem. The only thing is, once those Frostworms are out over the open, they're not getting anti-magic shield like they used to. Mopie's going to lose quite a few of his Arcanus here. That Frost Breath is just going to be too much for him. There we go. Green's going to begin rebuilding his units. I think I have to agree that at this point the game was indeed over. Perhaps I was missing a few things. I didn't have the opportunity to pause. For example, when I was watching this, I did not realize that Red had upgraded so far. He's at 3-5. I don't think there's much you can do against 3-5 if you have 0-0 and you have no bases. But again, at the end of the day, the control points are overall pretty even. We have 12 between green, and so 22. And then only 18 control points for the Scourge and the Burning Legion. Now you will notice they have a high number of allies. They allied everyone else in the game, but no one allied them. That way everyone could see what was going on and no one could send money. And we were keeping an eye on that, yeah. Oh, okay. Red's chased him away again. Managed to claim himself another Magus. Stratholme Castle still under assault. Summon's trying to be used. Mopie's towers have been destroyed. A couple of Red's bases in outer Scholomance, or Caradero at least, have been taken. Orange continues to take back a few of these control points. I think summoned units were used to take back Lordaeron City for purple, but they're just starting to run out of steam, and this gate will fall in only a moment, and that means Stratholme Castle will be down. Oh, Sapphiron. Oh, Sapphiron with the magic immune aura, or magic shield. That is just so unbelievably strong. It can still be taking out things like guard towers, but what you would normally use to take out Sapphiron is spells, lockdowns, and targeting, and that anti-magic shield essentially means that's not possible. Green throwing himself in here. I don't know why the Elven Ballista are deciding their melee units. They really... Oh, he's just... Oh, God, the clicking. He's just running straight through Red's army. I think that perhaps the next game will be a bit better. Like I said, this is the first game. More improvements will be made as time goes on, but there were quite a few positional mistakes and just rally points and things like that that ultimately cost them the game. And there he is. Mopie's building up another giant wall of towers. Because, no offense, his allies don't seem to like to hold on to their units ever. Look at all those. The Magus just died. They just died there for no reason. They're all dead. And back to Stratholme. Red was a bit worried about OJ, but he hasn't seen any further movement, so he backs up. He doesn't know these towers are going down. Because who would build that many towers? Now, I would like to say, what Mopie has done right is he's managed to stay very active at helping his allies and causing positional problems for the enemy. He wiped out Blue's army like 3 times, whereas not once did Purple or Green manage to get into a position where they could work together or cause any significant damage to Red whatsoever. The only real loss that Red suffered was this transport drop, and after that it was an absolute mess. Especially now that he has the crown on Quel'Thalas, it's too much damage. And there we see, alright, Purple's going to sit there. Still utilizing some summons. Apparently this base didn't need to die. It's cool. You can keep it. Take out a few of these if you can. Oh, and there we go. I think Stratholme's finally dead, and this is where OGS is going to call it. There we go. Orange deciding I really need to try to take out Scholomance. If anything, at least I'll be taking out the reinforcements in some way. And that's what you really need. Like I said, if you can take out Scholomance, Red loses the ability to reinforce. And even just small pieces of damage will start to add up, because every small piece of damage has to be rebuilt across the sea. I can't emphasize taking over Stratholme. I mean, Scholomance enough. Mopie sees it. Mopie, there's an Air Force, Mopie. Mopie, he's eating your water elementals. He's targeting Jaina. But Jaina actually able to sustain quite a bit of damage, and with Admiral Dalen Proudmoore here, he can keep him alive. Admittedly, the AoE damage starting to chew through some of the mana shields, and that does mean, and remember, the more damage you can do to that mana shield, the less mana they have to screw your face. There it is, Red, and this is an interesting move in that with this many arcane towers, most of Red's stuff relies on mana. Death Knights need it for Death Coil. Frostworms, they don't actually need it, but most of the heroes and what is holding Red's army together do require it. Unfortunately, Destroyers are immune to it, so that is a problem. But it does give Mopie the ability to cut up the enemy army, and that's the end, guys. OGS called it. He said he's just completely done. He lost his hero again, I think is what happened there. I think he got hero aimed. Alright, he got demi aimed at the very least. And he called it a game. OGS Miloshte is out. Orange holds on for a little bit longer, runs back to Dalaran, gets killed, but that is officially the end of the game. And in the future, we're going to see a bit more stringent requirements on when it is okay to call and not call a game. We'll also be making sure that the quality of players and their prep work has been up to order. But this is an idea of what the league can bring to offer. We're going to see very intense fights, very different tactics, and I'm hoping next that we're going to see a South Alliance or Kalimdor fight. I am dying to see what that looks like in the league, because Kalimdor, the entire continent's up for grabs. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's probably about as many control points as South Alliance and Outland, but it's just such a large landmass. I cannot wait to see what we're going to see from a good Kalimdor League game. So thank you all for joining me. This has been the one, the only, the Azothan. I hope you'll join me next time for Azeroth Wars League Season 1, Episode 2, when we check out further games. And you can find the list of players, and you can come contribute to the idea of how we're going to be doing brackets and organization over at diplomunion.com. And as always, check out Hive Workshop for interesting custom skins, maps, and campaigns. Please like, comment, or subscribe. It really helps me out, guys, and spread the word. See you guys later. Bye.